Look, I don't care what Gil does or doesn't do. I run the company, and I'm telling you I want it done this morning. Well, I'll deal with that when he gets back then. If he gets back. What's up, Tom?
Good news, Jason. We found him.
Where?
Down at the Royal Oaks Motel.
Oh, on the company expense account, no doubt. Oh, I'm sorry, Dom. How long's he been there?
A couple of days at least.
How did you find him?
When Dominic Cavallera says he's going to do something, he doesn't mess around.
Good man, Dom. Well, I think I'll pay a little visit to the Royal Oaks Motel.
You want me to go with you?
Nah, father and son business, but thanks, Dom.
Listen, I think you ought to know something. I think he's been on quite a binge. He hadn't been sober since he got there.
Terrific.
I'm coming. Oh, man. Hey, I'm coming, all right.
May I come in?
I don't think I could stop you if I wanted to. Can I get you anything?
No. Let's talk about the other day.
I really don't feel like an argument right now, you know? You know, if you can't accept me the way I am, then why don't you just leave me alone and let me fade out? Prescott Development's not the only company in this town.
You can't just run away from your problems. What good did that ever do? Look, Gil, I can't stop you if you want to go. In fact, I'll even give you a good recommendation if you need it. But don't leave until we have a chance to talk it out. That's all I ask.
You know, sure, I should have told you about borrowing the money, but I'm no thief!
I know that. I'm not holding you to a thing like that. In fact, I'm sorry that I overreacted to it. I think we can work it out.
Maybe.
Look, I want you back. Clean slate. Start from scratch. What do you say?
Well, maybe I don't want it like that, Dad.
There's nothing I can do to force you to stay. But if you want your job back, be there this afternoon. There's too much work to be done to hold it open after that. I hope you come back. I miss you.
Oh.
Oh. I didn't think anybody was in here.
Well, depending upon your particular interpretation of anybody, you might be right.
What are you doing?
I thought I heard a little birdie, and I'm trying to find it.
I don't think my father would appreciate you rummaging through his desk.
Look, at this point, I'm not really interested in what your father would like or dislike. I just want the information he promised me.
Perhaps you should ask him then.
That's a wonderful idea. Why don't you run along like a good girl and ask him for me?
Please stop.
Look, this really doesn't concern you.
Yes, it does. I find you uninvited in my father's office, rummaging through his personal belongings.
My, aren't we protected?
Yes, we are.
Aren't you a little old for that?
Aren't you?
The cat has claws.
I am really not interested in trading insults with you, Miss Landers.
It wouldn't be much of a contest, would it?
Probably not by your standards. But then I'm not interested in your standards.
Maybe when you're a big girl.
Maybe.
Tell me, Marianne, why is someone who's supposed to be as bright and independent as you still living at home and working for Daddy?
Well, he needs someone to point out who his real friends are, doesn't he?
Yes, you're probably very good at that. But I'd be careful if I were you. There's nothing as tedious as a helpful child. The company isn't yours yet, dear. Don't overstep your bounds. I'm leaving now.
Oh, excuse me.
Alan, you're nothing if not consistent.
I was just going to check and see whether Mr. Prescott had discovered who stole the $1,400.
As a matter of fact, he did, but perhaps we shouldn't be discussing that so openly, Alan.
It was Gil, wasn't it?
Your IQ's about the same as your shoe size.
I suspected Gil from the start. The boys had too much freedom. I've always said that...
You do know Marianne Prescott, don't you, Alan?
Excuse me, I didn't know you were here.
Perhaps this would be a good time to make an ungraceful exit.
Yes.
And let me congratulate you. Your number just came up.
I was amazed. The man knew his symptoms backwards and forwards. It was a classic case. The only problem is that the EKGs and the blood work didn't support his claim.
Well, it sounds like you read one too many magazine articles.
Turned out he'd written some of them, and he'd been treating himself out of medical books for years.
Well, he's lucky. He could have died of a misprint.
Uncle Alex, you're harder to find than a shy raccoon on a moonless night.
Oh, no. Now, if that's the effect that Mitch is going to have on you, I'm writing you out of my will.
You can't. I wrote it for you, remember?
Hey, what brings you here?
Just some ambulance chasing.
Oh, Dina, I'm sorry. Meet Dr. Ben Martin.
Well, hello. It's nice to know that the stereotype of the young, handsome doctor has some basis in fact.
Well, I'm inclined to say the same about young attorneys. But that would sound like I'm just trading compliments.
And you wouldn't want to sound insincere, would you?
Oh, of course not.
Dina Greeley.
As the man said, Ben Martin.
Of course you'll be able to join us.
Oh, of course.
In a sense, you both have a lot in common.
Oh?
Yeah, well, you see, you're just starting out in your practice, so to speak, and so is young Dr. Kildare here.
We lawyers have a tendency to complain on how cruel life is treating us when we're starting out. But, confidentially, we've got nothing on you doctors.
Well, Alex accuses me of being paranoid.
And that's only because he forgets what it was like. Where are you located?
Well, I'm opening a clinic in the Chesterfield section.
Oh, not enough guts to join the Peace Corps, huh?
Yeah, something like that. And you're in with Mitch now?
Oh, for better, for worse, till death do us part.
You know, I was going to give him a call. I have some legal questions for him.
You care to bounce them off me?
Oh, I really wouldn't want to impose.
If it'll make you feel better, I'll charge you.
Look, before I get caught in a conversation that's guaranteed to bore me to tears, I'm going to excuse myself.
Translation, he's late for surgery.
I'll call you later.
Okay.
See ya.
Talk to you then. Now, what were your questions?
Well, basically, what I wanted to know was, what would it be advantageous for me to incorporate?
Absolutely. But probably not in the way you're thinking.
Which is?
In layman's terms, a standard profit-making business, right?
Right?
Well, Chesterfield is not a Gold Coast. And with the clinic, you're not going to be rolling in the green. Now, stop me and tell me if I'm telling you anything that's surprising.
Oh, no. So far, so good.
Why don't you just incorporate as a non-profit organization?
Is that legal?
I'm sure I can manage it so it'll work out to be.
Well, it sounds like it might be pretty complicated.
Oh, not at all. Tell you what, though, it'll require a visit to the office for some paperwork and such, so why don't we go over it then?
Good. That'll give me time to practice nodding like I understand what you're saying. Well, this could be the beginning of a beautiful partnership.
Who's calling me? You sure you got the name right? Okay, put her on. Hello?
Mr. Webster?
Yeah.
This is Miriam Mason.
Yeah, good morning.
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Oh, I'm much better, thank you.
Where are you calling from?
From the hospital?
They know you're calling?
Oh, well, I don't think so. Does that make a difference?
Well, no, I guess it doesn't. I was just wondering, that's all. Was there something I can do for you?
Yes.
Well?
Oh, Mr. Webster, I need to see you.
About what?
Well, I really can't go into it over the phone. Would you just please say yes?
Miriam, is Nancy there with you?
No, why would she be here?
Because this sounds like the kind of a prank she'd pull, that's why. Go ahead and put her on.
No, really, Mr. Webster, she isn't here.
Okay, I believe you.
I'm sorry. I know this must sound strange, but I really need to see you. It's very important. Please?
I can't get there until later this afternoon, though.
Oh, well, that'll be fine then. Thank you.
See you then.
Surprise!
Well, Lori, what are you doing here?
Oh, you know me. Anything on a whim.
I'd like you to meet Dina Greeley.
Oh, hello.
Hi.
Dina, my wife, Lori.
Oh, I should have known you were married.
You mean it wasn't obvious?
Not at all.
And all this time, I thought married men had a certain look about them. You'll have to work on that, dear.
Lori, you'll never guess who Dina's working for.
With?
The suspense is killing me.
She's Mitch's new partner.
Oh, you're Dr. Greeley's niece, then.
The one and the same.
She's going to be helping me with some of the legal aspects of the clinic.
I
Isn't
certainly
that
hope
nice?
so.
Huh?
Great.
It's nice meeting you, Lori. Ben, I'm looking forward to working with you very much.
Well, the feeling is mutual. Will you be in your office a little later?
I'm no way to avoid it, I'm afraid.
Well, I'll call and make an appointment for sometime later in the
I
week.
can assure you it'll be the highlight of my afternoon.
I'll talk to you then.
Okay.
And what do you suppose will be the highlight of your afternoon?
Getting through this conversation in one piece.
Would you mind explaining to me what that was all about? Don't look at me like that. I saw the way the two of you were carrying on.
Let's not overdo it.
All right, maybe she was the one who was carrying on. But you certainly didn't do anything to discourage her,
Well, maybe I didn't think there was anything to discourage.
which only proves my point.
I think I've been trustworthy up until now.
It's not you I'm worried about.
Well, as they say, it takes two to tango.
Well, I think one is already on the dance floor.
Lori, that's not funny.
My sentiments exactly.
Okay, your concern is noted. I'll keep my eyes open. What you got planned for the afternoon?
Well, whatever it is, it's bound to be a disappointment. After all, it won't be with you. And we all know you're the highlight of any woman's afternoon.
Hello, Dom. Jason. Oh, yeah, I'm glad to hear that. Hey, did Gil show up yet? Let me know when he does, will you? Thanks.
I always did like being in this office alone.
You say something?
Nothing that bears repeating. Why the gloomy face? Gil. Dad, when are you going to see Gil for what he really is?
And what's that?
A lazy, irresponsible, egotistical thief.
That's not fair.
It may not be flattering, but it sure is fair. I know about the $1,400, Dad.
And who are you to pass judgment?
I've seen what he's done to himself and the family and now the company.
Well, that incident with the money he doesn't agree with you on.
Oh, well, I'm sure he doesn't. What, does he consider it a loan?
That's exactly what he considers it, and I'm not sure that I disagree with him.
Dad, you would never let me get away with something like that.
Well, you're different. You wouldn't do something like that in the first place.
Now, what kind of logic is that?
Marianne, because of our faith, why, we act differently. We take responsibilities for those actions. Gil doesn't have that kind of a background. How can I expect as much from him?
Because responsibility and maturity are characteristics of an adult. They're not limited to just being Christians. But what you're doing is keeping him in perpetual childhood. And I, for one, am sick of it.
Oh, wait a minute.
No, I won't. You have got a blind spot when it comes to Gil.
I'll get it.
Sergeant Watson, come on in. Any news?
I'm sorry, nothing.
Oh, it's all right, Sergeant. We know you're trying.
Thank you, ma'am. Actually, we did come up with some information. Seems that your grandson was the victim of some kind of blackmail scheme.
What?
3 older boys. They seem to be harassing a lot of the younger ones. First for lunch money, then more.
That's why Jimmy took the money.
It would appear so, yes.
I knew there had to be a reason.
You do think you'll find him, don't you?
We got our best men on it, Mrs. Redland.
Faith, Carla, Faith.
Oh, it's all so stupid.
May I speak to you alone?
Mom, I'm gonna get the sergeant a cup of coffee.
Oh, Gene, I'll get that.
No, Mama, I can handle it.
Don't be silly. These old hands need something to do.
Well, why don't you get the door instead?
What's wrong, Sergeant?
Mr. Redline, I wasn't trying to appease your wife out there. We really do have the best men in the city on this case.
But?
If something doesn't turn up in the next 8 hours, there's really not much use in continuing.
That's it? You're just gonna give up?
No, not exactly. Somebody will be assigned to the case.
You think it's just a question of waiting for the body to turn up, don't you?
A lot can happen in 8 hours.
Sure.
I'll see myself out.
Jimmy.
Everything will be all right.
Absolutely.
Jane, look who's here with some food for us.
Hey, Terry.
I'm sorry.
Well, it's not over yet.
That's right. I know Jimmy's all right. The Lord has promised me he's safe. No news is good news, Jean.
We were going to pray, Jean. Would you like to join us?
Come in.
Ms. Mason?
Yes, come in. I've been waiting for you.
Yeah, I'm sorry that it took me so long to get here.
Oh, that's quite all right. I'm just so glad that you agreed to come. Please sit down.
Thank you. Ms. Mason?
Oh, it's Miriam, please.
Miriam. Yeah, Miriam, am I paying you a personal call, or is this a professional call?
Well, it's both, really. As I said, I need to see you professionally, but if you agree to do it, then I guess it will be kind of for personal reasons, because, see, I can't really pay you right away. So if you want to say no right now, then I understand.
Well, if your father's a wealthy man, I really can't see how money would be any kind of a problem.
Well, yes, it would, because he's not likely to pay for what I need to ask for.
But forget about the money, then. Well, what is it that you want me to do?
Mr. Webster, I need very, very much to talk to my mother. And do you think that there is just any way possible you could help me do that?
You know, of course, that your father has initiated divorce proceedings against her.
Yes, I thought so. Well, doesn't that mean then that somehow you've gotten in touch with her?
Well, no, I haven't been able to find her. But then I haven't really tried.
Will you? Please?
Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to do that for you.
I'm coming. Easy on the door. Marianne, what's wrong?
I am angry.
Obviously, what's wrong?
I just came from my father's office. Sometimes he makes me so mad.
Hey, calm down. Have a seat and tell me what the
I don't
problem
want
is.
to sit.
Okay, stand there and tell me what the problem is.
It's my father's attitude towards Gil.
Oh, what's he done this time?
Gil took. No, he stole over $1,400 from the company.
What? $1,400? Why?
Oh, I don't want to go into that now. The fact is, Gil took the money, and now Dad is bending over backwards to make excuses for his actions. He's always done that for Gil.
And not for you?
I didn't say that. It hurts, though, that he has two sets of standards. One for me, and then a totally, entirely different one for Gil.
Have you talked this all out with your dad?
Oh, yes. Why can't he see Gil for what he really is?
Maybe he does.
What?
Maybe your dad does see Gil for what he really is, but chooses to forgive him.
I can't believe you, of all people, defending my brother.
I'm not. It's just that maybe I'm more objective and can see things from your dad's point of view. Gil's like the prodigal son. Maybe your dad's trying to be like that son's father.
You mean forgiving and loving, open arms and all? I see what you mean. Maybe, I've been kind of like the other self-righteous son. You're a good friend, you know that?
I try.
You got him in?
Gil!
Just thought I'd come by and, well, tell you that I'm back.
I'm glad.
Well, I would have been here earlier, but it was late night. guess I don't really have to tell you that. I will be here first thing tomorrow morning, though. You know, well, that is, if I still have my job.
You know you do.
Great. Well, guess that's that, huh?
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh, sorry about running out on you like that.
Apology accepted.
Well, anything else?
No, guess not.
Okay, see you later, Dad.
Sure. Oh, Gil, there is one more thing. Welcome back.
Thanks.
Sorry to have to bother you so early, Mr. Redland.
What is it? Have you found him?
I'm sorry to have to tell you this. We found the body of a little boy in the river. I need to have you come down and identify it.